The warning lights flashed red across the command center of the Velthari Nexus monitoring station. Commander Vextai's forearms moved quickly over his control panel as alarms screamed through the air. His large, dark eyes focused on the main display screen where a single dot appeared in their space. "Report," Vextai commanded. His voice carried the authority of someone who had commanded this station for over 20 cycles. Security Chief Lorneth rushed to his side. Her blue skin turned darker with worry as she read the data. Unknown vessel detected entering Sector 7 Alpha. No identification codes. No jump signature detected. Vextai's head tentacles twitched with confusion. No jump signature? How? Is that possible? All ships must use hyperspace to reach this system. I don't know, Commander. The ship just appeared. Our sensors picked it up 3 minutes ago, moving toward the main trade hub. On the screen, the mysterious vessel continued its steady path through their space. It looked different from any ship design they knew. The UI hull was smooth and white with strange markings on the sides. Blue lights ran along its edges like flowing water. Size and classification? Vextai asked. Lorneth checked her readings twice before answering. Length approximately 800 meters. But Commander, the energy readings are unusual. Define unusual. The power output suggests weapons capable of destroying a planet. The shield strength readings are off our measurement scale. I've never seen anything like this. Vextai felt his blood run cold. In all his years commanding this station, he had seen many threats: pirates, rogue military ships, even ancient war machines from the Unity Wars. But nothing had ever shown power readings like this. "Open communications, all frequencies," he ordered. The communications officer, a young Zephyrian named Koltek, worked frantically at his station. "Broadcasting on all known frequencies, Commander. Standard greeting protocols in 17 languages." They waited. The mysterious ship continued moving toward their trading hub, where millions of beings from dozens of species lived and worked. Still no response. "Try emergency channels," Vextai said. "Already tried, sir. No response on any frequency." Commander Vextai's military training took over. An unknown ship with massive weapons approaching their most populated station, while ignoring all communications, was a clear threat. He had protocols to follow. Alert the defense fleet. Scramble all available interceptors. Yes, Commander. Within minutes, 12 fighter ships launched from the station's defense base. Their sleek forms raced toward the unknown vessel, weapons powered but not yet targeted. The station's main defense guns also powered up, their massive energy signatures lighting up every sensor in the system. On board the mysterious ship, Captain Han Do-hyun sat in his command chair watching the alien fighters approach. He was a tall man with kind eyes and graying hair at his temples. He wore a simple blue uniform with no visible weapons. "Captain," said Lieutenant Park Min-seo from the communication station, "we're receiving multiple signals on various frequencies. The universal translator is still working on them, but they appear to be hailing attempts. Any luck with the response?" "Not yet, sir. Their language structure is completely different from anything in our database. The computer needs more time to establish translation protocols." Captain Han nodded calmly. "How long?" "Approximately 15 more minutes for basic communication. Another hour for complex conversation." Through the main viewing window, the alien fighters were now visible as small dots of light getting larger. Han could see they were moving into attack formation. "Captain," called out Engineer Kim Tae-won from his station, "those fighters are powering weapon systems. The larger station is also bringing defensive systems online." "Understood. Maintain current course and speed. Do not power weapons." "Sir," with respect, Kim said, "they clearly see us as a threat. Maybe we should consider—" "No," Han said firmly but gently. "We came here in peace. We will not be the first to show aggression." The alien fighters took positions around the human ship. Their formation was professional and precise. Han had to admit these beings knew military tactics. Back on the monitoring station, Commander Vextai watched his fighters surround the unknown vessel. The ship had not changed course or speed. It had not powered weapons or shields. It simply continued moving steadily toward the trade hub. "Status report from Fighter Squadron Leader," Lorneth said. Fighter leader Knoxval reports the unknown. Ship is not responding to warning shots across its bow. It maintains course and speed. No aggressive actions detected, but the ship continues to approach the trade hub. Vextai's headache was getting worse. The ship showed enough firepower to destroy his station, yet it took no aggressive action. It ignored all communications but also ignored all warnings. What kind of species built ships like this? Commander. Koltek called out suddenly. I'm receiving a transmission from the unknown vessel. Put it through. The main screen filled with mathematical symbols, simple equations, prime numbers, and basic geometric shapes. What is this? Lorneth asked. Mathematics, Vextai said with surprise. Universal mathematical concepts. They're trying to establish communication through mathematics. Koltek worked quickly at his station. Responding with mathematical sequences, Commander. For the next several minutes, both sides exchanged increasingly complex mathematical concepts. Prime numbers led to simple equations. Equations led to geometric proofs. Geometric proofs led to basic physics principles. Then words appeared on the screen. Rough and basic, but understandable. We, come, peace, no, harm, intended, seek, talk. The command center went silent. Everyone stared at the screen. They're trying to communicate, Vextai said quietly. But sir, Lorneth protested, look at their weapon systems. This could be a trick. Before Vextai could respond, more words appeared on the screen. We are humans from Earth, explore, galaxy, learn about other life. Humans. Vextai repeated the word. Never heard of this species. Could be a new threat, Lorneth said. Unknown species with advanced technology often mean trouble. The screen updated again. Please. No. Fear. Ship. Is. Science. Vessel. Not. War. Ship. Vextai looked at the power readings again. If this was a science vessel, what did their warships look like? Commander, the communications officer said, Admiral Thivor is requesting immediate contact. He's mobilizing the Third Fleet. Admiral Thivor was the coalition's military commander. If he was mobilizing the Third Fleet, it meant 3 full battlecruiser groups were being deployed. Over 60 warships. Put the Admiral through, Vextai ordered. Admiral Thivor's stern face appeared on a side screen. His scarred features showed a lifetime of military service. Commander, report on the situation. Unknown species calling themselves humans, Admiral. Single vessel with massive energy signatures. They claim to be peaceful explorers, but their ship shows weapons capability beyond anything we've encountered. Humans, Thivor repeated just as Vextai had. Are they responding to communications? Yes, sir, basic mathematical communication established. They claim peaceful intentions. Claims are easy to make, the Admiral said grimly. I'm bringing the Third Fleet to full readiness. If this human ship makes any aggressive move, we will respond with overwhelming force. Understood, Admiral. The transmission ended, leaving Vextai to stare at the main screen where the human ship continued its steady approach. More messages appeared. Understand your concern. We are visitors. Wish to meet your people, share knowledge. What do you think, Lorneth? Vextai asked his security chief. I think we're facing something completely new, she replied honestly. Their technology is far beyond ours, but their behavior doesn't match any invasion pattern we've seen. Real conquerors don't usually ask for permission. On the human ship, Captain Han studied the tactical display showing the alien fighters around them and the larger military vessels moving in the distance. Captain, Lieutenant Park said, I'm picking up massive energy signatures approaching from the outer system. Multiple large vessels, possibly military. How many? Estimated 60-plus vessels, all showing battle configurations. Engineer Kim whistled low. That's quite a welcome committee. Captain Han smiled slightly. Can't say I blame them. If an unknown ship with advanced technology appeared in our space, we'd probably respond the same way. Orders, Captain? Parky asked. Maintain course, continue communication attempts, and Han paused, considering his next words carefully. Prepare a full disclosure package. Sir? Kim asked with surprise. If we want them to trust us, we need to show them who we are. Prepare to transmit complete technical specifications of our ship, our mission parameters, and our peaceful intentions. That's highly irregular, Captain, Park protested. So is first contact with an alien coalition, Han replied calmly. Irregular times call for irregular solutions. As the human ship continued toward the trade hub, followed by alien fighters and approaching alien battle fleets, both sides prepared for whatever would come next. Neither side wanted war, but neither side fully trusted the other. The stage was set for humanity's first contact with galactic civilization. Whether it would end in friendship or conflict remained to be seen. Admiral Thivor stood on the bridge of his flagship, the mighty battlecruiser Eternal Vigilance. Through the massive viewing windows, he could see the human vessel surrounded by his fighter squadrons. The unknown ship looked small compared to his 3 battlecruisers, but the energy readings made him very nervous. Distance to target? He asked his tactical officer. 200,000 kilometers and closing, Admiral. The human ship maintained steady course toward the trade hub. Thivor had fought in the Unity Wars 20 cycles ago. He had seen planets burned and entire species wiped out by advanced weapons. The power readings from this single human ship reminded him of those dark days. Open communications with the human vessel, he ordered. On the human ship Teguk, Captain Han received the incoming transmission. The universal translator had improved significantly over the past hour of mathematical exchanges. Unknown human vessel, this is Admiral Thivor of the Kalros Coalition Defense Force. You have entered our space without authorization. You will stop your engines and prepare for boarding inspection. Captain Han looked around his bridge at his crew. Lieutenant Park Minseo sat ready at communications. Engineer Kim Tae-wan monitored their systems. Dr. Song Ji-hye, their xenobiologist, had joined them on the bridge to witness first contact with alien life. Open a channel, Lieutenant Park, Han ordered. Channel open, Captain. Admiral Thivor, this is Captain Han Do-hyun of the Earth exploration vessel Taeguk. We come in peace from the planet Earth. We are explorers seeking to meet and learn from other intelligent species. We mean no harm to you or your people. There was a long pause before Thivor replied. Earth? We have no record of this planet, or your species in our databases. How did you develop interstellar travel without our knowledge? Dr. Song leaned forward with interest. She had spent years studying the possibility of alien life. Now she was actually talking to aliens. Admiral, Captain Han replied, our species has been developing space travel for several decades. We have been observing your space traffic from a distance for some months, learning your languages and customs before making contact. This answer clearly disturbed Admiral Thivor. You have been watching us for months? How many of your ships are in our space? Several exploration vessels are studying different regions of the galaxy, Admiral. All are peaceful scientific missions like ours. On the bridge of the Eternal Vigilance, Admiral Thivor felt his worry growing. Multiple unknown ships with advanced technology scattered throughout the galaxy meant a potential threat far beyond what they had imagined. Human Captain, you will power down your weapon systems and allow my boarding teams to inspect your vessel. This is not a request. Captain Han looked at Engineer Kim, who shook his head slightly. Their defensive systems were not weapons in the traditional sense, but they would appear threatening to these aliens. Admiral, our ship carries no weapons designed for attacking other vessels. We are a science ship. However, we cannot power down our defensive systems while surrounded by armed military vessels. I hope you understand our caution. Defensive systems? Admiral Thivor asked sharply. Our sensors show energy signatures capable of destroying planets. What kind of defensive systems are these? Dr. Song whispered to Captain Han. They're interpreting our shield generators and emergency systems as weapons. Their technology level appears to be several decades behind ours. Captain Han nodded and spoke into the communicator. Admiral, I understand your concern. Our defensive systems are indeed powerful. but they are designed to protect our ship from space hazards, radiation, and debris. They are not weapons. You expect me to believe that defensive systems produce power readings like that? Yes, Admiral. Our technology may appear unusual to you, but I assure you it is purely defensive in nature. Commander Vextai's voice came through on a secondary channel. Admiral, the humans have been cooperative so far. They established communication through mathematics and have not shown any aggressive behavior. Perhaps, Admiral Thivor replied grimly, but unknown species with unknown technology must be treated as potential threats until proven otherwise. On the human ship, the crew watched as more alien vessels appeared on their sensors. Dr. Song studied the designs with fascination. "Captain," she said quietly, "their ship designs suggest a species that has fought many wars. Look at the armor plating and weapon configurations. These people have seen a lot of conflict. That would explain their caution," Captain Han replied. "Lieutenant Park, can you establish communication with their civilian authorities? I'd prefer to speak with diplomats rather than military commanders." "Working on it, sir. I'm detecting communication traffic from what appears to be a government station in the outer system." Engineer Kim looked up from his station. "Captain, I'm reading more alien ships approaching. Different designs from the military vessels. Could be civilian traffic fleeing the area." Through the viewing window, they could indeed see various ships moving away from the trade hub. The arrival of the human ship had apparently caused widespread panic. "This isn't going as planned," Dr. Song observed. "First contact rarely does," Captain Han replied calmly. Admiral Thivor was receiving reports from his fleet commanders. All ships were in position. Weapons were powered and ready, but something bothered him about this situation. "Communications officer, patch me through to the Coalition Council, emergency session." Within minutes, representatives from the 3 major coalition species appeared on his screen. The Mantari counselor spoke first. "Admiral, we understand you have encountered an unknown species with advanced technology." "Yes, counselor. They call themselves humans from a planet called Earth. They claim to be peaceful explorers, but their ship shows power readings beyond anything we've seen." The Zephyrian counselor, an elderly female with silver skin, leaned forward. "Have they made any demands? Threatened any of our worlds?" "No, counselor. They simply request permission to visit our trade hub and meet our people." The third counselor, representing the Calrosian species, spoke with concern. "Admiral, our history teaches us to be cautious with unknown species. Remember the Devourers from beyond the rim. They also claim to come in peace." Admiral Thivor remembered the Devourers well. They had nearly destroyed the coalition before being stopped. "I am aware of the precedent, counselor. However," the Mantari counselor added, "the Devourers never asked permission for anything, they simply attacked. These humans have been trying to communicate peacefully." On the human ship, Captain Han made a decision that would change everything. "Dr. Song, prepare a complete cultural package. History of Earth, human development, our scientific achievements, and our space exploration goals." "Captain, are you sure? That's a lot of sensitive information. They're afraid of us because they don't understand us. Fear leads to conflict. Let's give them understanding instead." "Preparing cultural package now," Dr. Song confirmed. Captain Han opened communications again. "Admiral Thivor, we would like to transmit information about our species and our civilization to help you understand who we are. With your permission, we will send historical records, scientific data, and information about our peaceful exploration mission." This request surprised Admiral Thivor. Most species guarded their information carefully. Why would these humans offer to share their secrets? "What kind of information?" he asked cautiously. "Everything you need to know about humanity, our history, our technology, our values, and our reasons for exploring space. We want you to understand that we truly come in peace." The Coalition Council members looked at each other with surprise. The Mantari counselor spoke first. "This is unusual. Most species we encounter are very secretive about their capabilities and intentions. Perhaps that's why they're offering the Zephyrian counselor suggested. True peaceful intentions don't require secrecy. Admiral Thevor considered this. In all his years of military service, he had never encountered a species willing to voluntarily share strategic information with strangers. Very well, human captain. You may transmit your information, but understand that any sign of deception or threat will be met with immediate military response. Understood, Admiral. Beginning transmission now. Dr. Song worked quickly at her station, compiling decades of human history, scientific advancement, and cultural development into a comprehensive package. The story of humanity's journey from a single world to the stars, their struggles with war and peace, their scientific achievements, and their dream of meeting other intelligent life. As the information flowed across space to the alien ships, both sides waited to see how this unprecedented act of openness would be received. The transmission included images of Earth, human cities, families, schools, and laboratories. It showed humanity's gradual development of space technology, their first steps on their moon, and their eventual expansion to nearby star systems. Most importantly, it showed humanity's philosophy, the belief that the universe was vast enough for all species to thrive together. That knowledge shared made everyone stronger, and that understanding between different forms of life was the key to galactic peace. Admiral Thevor and the Coalition Council reviewed the human data package with growing amazement. These humans had indeed developed incredibly advanced technology, but they had also maintained values of cooperation and peaceful exploration. Fascinating, the Mantari counselor said. They've achieved post-scarcity economics while The Coalition Council emergency session continued for 3 hours as they reviewed the human data package. Diplomat Zilandra, the Coalition's chief negotiator, studied every detail with growing concern. Not because the humans appeared threatening, but because they appeared almost too good to be true. This is unprecedented, she said to the assembled counselors. A spacefaring species that has eliminated poverty, ended wars on their homeworld, and developed technology beyond our understanding while maintaining peaceful intentions. The Calrosian counselor remained skeptical. Perhaps this is exactly what they want us to think. Perfect societies don't exist, Diplomat Zilandra. Every species has darkness in their past. But look at their historical records, the Mantari counselor argued. They freely admit to their past conflicts. They show their mistakes and how they learned from them. This level of honesty suggests genuine peaceful intentions. On the human ship, Taeguk, Dr. Song continued monitoring alien communications. Her translation programs had improved significantly, allowing her to understand more complex conversations. Captain, she reported, I'm picking up debate among their leadership. Some want to welcome us, others want to treat us as a potential threat. There's also mention of something called the Devourers that has them particularly worried. Corin. Han nodded thoughtfully. Any species that has survived long enough to form a galactic coalition has probably faced threats before. Their caution is understandable. Engineer Kim looked up from his station. Captain, we have a problem. Our passive scanning is picking up some unusual energy signatures from their military ships. Explain. Their weapon systems appear to be designed for completely destroying other ships and space stations. Not disabling, not capturing, but total annihilation. These people have fought some very serious wars. Commander Yu Jae-hyun, the Marine commander, had been quietly listening to the reports. He stepped forward with concern showing on his face. Captain, if their military doctrine is based on total destruction rather than controlled conflict, they might not understand our defensive posture. They might see our refusal to power down as preparation for a first strike. Captain Han considered this carefully. Dr. Song, what can you tell us about their recent conflicts? Dr. Song pulled up her analysis. From their communications and the data I can access, it appears they fought something called the Unity Wars about 20 years ago. Multiple references to species that consumed others required total military destruction to defeat. They've developed a military philosophy based on overwhelming response to existential threats. So when they see our advanced defensive systems, they're thinking about these devourers. Captain Han concluded, Exactly, sir. To them, advanced unknown technology equals potential extinction level threat. Technical specialist Choi Heron had been quietly analyzing the alien ship designs. She spoke up with new information. Captain, I've been studying their ship configurations. Their technology is actually quite impressive, but it's focused entirely on warfare. I don't see any ships designed for pure scientific research like ours. This was a crucial insight. The aliens had developed primarily military-focused technology, while humans had developed primarily scientific-focused technology. Each side was seeing the other through their own technological lens. Open communications, Captain Han ordered. Admiral Thivor, this is Captain Han. We've been studying your ship designs and we believe there may be some cultural misunderstandings affecting our communications. What kind of misunderstandings? Admiral Thivor responded cautiously. Admiral, your ships are beautifully designed for military purposes. Your weapons and defensive systems show incredible engineering skill focused on protecting your people from threats. Our ships are designed differently, focused on scientific research and exploration. We think this difference is causing communication problems. There was a long pause before Admiral Thivor replied. Explain what you mean, Captain. Our defensive systems appear threatening to you because you're thinking in military terms. Your military responses appear threatening to us because we're thinking in scientific terms. Neither side actually wants conflict, but we're misreading each other's intentions. Diplomat Zil Andra, who had been listening to all communications, requested a direct channel to the human ship. Captain Han, this is Diplomat Zil Andra of the Coalition Council. May I ask you a direct question? Of course, Diplomat. Have you encountered hostile alien species in your explorations? The question surprised Captain Han. He looked around at his crew before answering honestly. No, Diplomat. You are the first intelligent alien species we have contacted. We have hoped to find others, but we had no way of knowing what we might encounter. This answer stunned the alien leadership. The humans had developed incredible defensive technology without ever fighting an alien enemy. They had prepared for the unknown while hoping for the best. Then your powerful defensive system, Admiral Thivor began, are designed to protect us from unknown space hazards, cosmic radiation, asteroid impacts, and yes, the theoretical possibility of hostile contact. But they are not weapons designed to attack others. Diplomat Zilandra felt a growing realization. Captain, in our experience, species don't develop advanced space technology unless they've been forced to by conflict or threat. Your people developed it purely for exploration? Yes. We developed space technology because we wanted to learn about the universe and hopefully meet other intelligent species. Our greatest hope was to find others who shared our curiosity about the cosmos. The alien leadership began to understand. These humans were what the Coalition had dreamed of becoming but had never achieved. A species that reached for the stars driven by curiosity rather than necessity or fear. But then, things began to go wrong. A minor system fluctuation occurred on the Tiguk. It was nothing serious, just a momentary power surge that Engineer Kim quickly corrected. But the ship's automated defensive systems briefly activated, sending out sensor pulses and energy field adjustments. To the surrounding alien fighters, it looked like the human ship was powering weapons and targeting systems. Alert! Alert! The human ship is activating attack systems. Fighter Squadron Leader Knoxville reported immediately. Admiral Thivor's hard-won trust evaporated instantly. All ships, combat positions, prepare to fire. On the human ship, alarms sounded as dozens of alien weapons locked onto them. Captain, Kim called out. Minor system fluctuation caused an automatic defensive response. I've corrected it. But the alien ships are now targeting us with full weapons loads. Captain Han's calm voice cut through the tension. All stop. Full shutdown of all non-essential systems. Broadcast our status immediately. Admiral Thivor, this is Captain Han. We experienced a minor technical malfunction that triggered our automatic defensive systems. The systems have been reset to passive mode. We are not targeting your vessels and have no hostile intent, but fear and suspicion are powerful forces. Admiral Thivor had seen too many battles, lost too many friends to unknown threats. The brief activation of human Systems looked exactly like preparation for an attack. Human ship, you will immediately power down all systems and prepare for boarding. Any further activation of your defensive systems will be considered an act of war. Admiral, we cannot completely power down our systems while surrounded by armed vessels. Our life support and basic defensive systems must remain active for the safety of our crew. Then you will be destroyed as a threat to coalition space. The situation had escalated beyond anyone's intentions. Both sides were now preparing for a conflict neither wanted. Dr. Song worked frantically at her station. Captain, I'm detecting massive energy buildups from their weapon systems. They're preparing to fire. Time to full charge? Estimated 2 minutes, sir. Captain Han looked around his bridge. His crew trusted him to find a peaceful solution, but they were running out of time and options. Choi, can you analyze their weapons and determine if our shields will hold? Technical specialist Choi Hyeran's analysis was grim. Their weapons are powerful, Captain, but our shields should hold against their current configuration. However, if they concentrate all fire on one section, we could be damaged or destroyed, Captain Han finished. Yes, sir. Engineer Kim spoke up quietly. Captain, we could demonstrate our superior technology. Show them they can't harm us, force them to negotiate. That would only confirm their fears that we're a threat, Captain Han replied. We'd win the battle, but lose any chance at peace. Lieutenant Park monitored the alien communications. Captain, they're coordinating attack patterns now. Multiple ships focusing fire on our shield generators. The alien fleet had taken battle positions around the human ship. 63 military vessels with enough firepower to destroy a small moon, all focused on one exploration ship. But Captain Han had one more idea, something that went against all military logic but might save both sides from a tragic misunderstanding. Dr. Song, prepare another transmission package. Include every detail about our mission, our ship's systems, and our crew. Send them everything. Captain, if they're about to attack us, they're attacking because they're afraid. Let's give them a reason not to be afraid. As the alien weapons reached full char, the complete technical transmission from the human ship arrived at Admiral Thivor's flagship, just as his weapons officer reported ready to fire. Every detail of the human vessel's systems, power sources, defensive capabilities, and crew information flooded their computers. Admiral, his science officer called out with amazement, you need to see this immediately. We're about to engage an enemy vessel, Science Officer Kexlan. Make it quick. Sir, they're not an enemy vessel. Look at these technical specifications. This ship has no weapons at all. None. Their defensive systems are exactly what they claimed. Protection against space hazards, not weapons of war. Admiral Thivor stared at the data streaming across his screens. The human ship's power systems were indeed incredibly advanced, but they were designed for scientific research, life support, and passive defense. There were no missile launchers, no energy cannons, no torpedo bays. How is that possible, he asked. The power readings suggested planet-killing capability. The power is there, Admiral, but it's channeled into shield generators, sensor arrays, and scientific equipment. They could probably scan a planet down to individual molecules, but they couldn't destroy it if they wanted to. Diplomat Zilandra's voice crackled over the communication system. Admiral, abort the attack. I repeat, abort the attack immediately. Diplomat, they showed hostile system activation. Admiral, they've just transmitted complete technical specifications of their ship. Every system, every capability, every weakness. No hostile species would do that while facing an armed fleet. Admiral Thiever hesitated. In all his military experience, he had never encountered an enemy willing to show complete vulnerability during a standoff. On the human ship, Captain Han watched the alien fleet weapons remain charged and targeted. Dr. Song continued monitoring their communications. Captain, they're debating among themselves. Some want to attack, others are arguing for restraint. The technical data is causing a lot of discussion. Are they believing what we've shown them? I think so, sir. But they're having trouble understanding how we developed such advanced technology without weapons systems. Engineer Kim had been thinking about this cultural gap. Captain, maybe we need to show them something they can understand. A demonstration that proves our peaceful intentions. What kind of demonstration? We could help them with something. Show them how our technology can be used to benefit others rather than harm them. Captain Han considered this. Dr. Song, are you detecting any problems in this system that we could help with? Dr. Song quickly scanned the local space with their advanced sensors. Actually, yes. There's a damaged merchant vessel about 6 light hours from here. Their distress beacon is very weak, probably why the local ships haven't detected it yet. Can we help them? Easily, sir. Our medical bay and repair systems could fix whatever damage they have. Captain Han made his decision. Admiral Thivor, this is Captain Han. We've detected a damaged vessel in your space that appears to need assistance. With your permission, we'd like to offer aid. This request completely baffled the alien leadership. The human ship was surrounded by a hostile fleet, moments away from being destroyed, and they wanted to stop and help someone. What damaged vessel? Admiral Thivor asked. Approximately 6 light hours from our current position. The distress signal is very weak, likely why your ships haven't detected it yet. Our sensors show significant structural damage and possible casualties. Admiral Thivor quickly checked with his sensor operators. We're not detecting any distress signals in that area. Your sensors may not be sensitive enough to detect the weak signal, Admiral. Would you like us to transmit the exact location and sensor data? Before Admiral Thivor could respond, another ship suddenly appeared in the system, but this one was clearly different from the first human vessel. Where the Taeguk was sleek and scientific-looking, this new ship was obviously designed for civilian purposes. It looked more like a mobile research station than a military vessel. Captain Kang Sunwoo of the human ship Hanbok opened communications immediately. This is Captain Kang of the Earth civilian research vessel Hanbok. We received Captain Han's first contact reports and came to assist with cultural exchange protocols. The alien fleet now faced 2 human ships instead of 1, but the second ship was obviously civilian. Its hull was decorated with artistic designs. It had large viewing windows, and its energy signature showed no defensive systems at all. 2 ships? Admiral Thivor muttered. Admiral, Captain Kang continued, we want to apologize for any misunderstanding. Captain Han's ship is our most advanced exploration vessel, which probably made it appear threatening. My ship is designed for civilian contact and cultural exchange. Perhaps we can resolve this situation peacefully. Navigator Shin Myung on the Hanbok was already analyzing the tactical situation. Captain Kang, the alien fleet has weapons locked on Captain Han's ship. Tension levels appear very high. Understood. Open all cultural communication protocols. Show them everything. Our art, our music, our literature, our history of peace building. Meanwhile, on the Taeguk, Dr. Song had made a disturbing discovery while analyzing alien communications and databases. Captain, I've found references to their previous encounters with advanced unknown species. Something called the Devourers appeared in their space 23 years ago. They looked peaceful at first, then systematically destroyed or enslaved dozens of worlds before being stopped. This explained everything. The alien coalition's extreme response wasn't just military caution, it was survival instinct based on traumatic experience. Admiral Thivor, Captain Han called, we've learned about your previous encounter with hostile advanced species. We understand your caution and we respect the losses your people suffered. Admiral Thivor was surprised. How had the humans learned about the Devourers so quickly? You know about the Devourers? We've analyzed your communication patterns and historical references. We understand they appeared peaceful at first, then revealed hostile intentions. You're afraid we might do the same. The possibility had occurred to us, Admiral Thivor admitted grimly. Admiral, may I suggest a way to prove our peaceful intentions that you would find convincing? I'm listening. We'll shut down our defensive systems completely and allow your boarding teams to inspect our ships. Full access, no restrictions. You can verify everything we've told you. The suggestion stunned both the human and alien crews. Captain Han was offering to make his ship completely vulnerable to prove his peaceful intentions. Captain, Engineer, Kim whispered, if you shut down our defensive systems while surrounded by hostile ships, we'll be completely at their mercy. Captain Han finished quietly. Yes, I know. Ambassador Rixtal of the hegemony species had been monitoring the situation from the outer system. He now requested communication with all parties. "This is Ambassador Rixtal speaking. I represent the diplomatic corps of the coalition. Captain Han, your offer is unprecedented. No species has ever voluntarily made themselves completely vulnerable during first contact. Ambassador, trust must begin somewhere. We choose to begin with ourselves." "But Captain," Diplomat Zilandra interjected, "if you power down your systems, you'll be helpless. How do you know we won't simply capture or destroy your ships?" Captain Han's answer was simple and profound. "Because you're people of honor who are trying to protect your civilization. You won't destroy helpless beings who have offered no threat." The alien leadership found themselves facing an impossible situation. The humans were either exactly what they claimed to be, peaceful explorers willing to trust completely, or they were the most sophisticated and dangerous threat the coalition had ever encountered. But then the situation changed again. Long range. Sensors suddenly detected a new threat approaching the system. Not human ships, but a fleet of vessels with familiar and terrifying energy signatures. "Admiral," his sensor operator called out in panic. "Pirate fleet detected approaching the outer system. Configuration matches known raider groups. Estimated arrival in 4 hours." The timing couldn't have been worse. Just as the coalition was dealing with unknown human ships, a very real and immediate threat was approaching their space. Pirate Lord Gaxthul had been watching the situation develop through hidden sensors. The apparent conflict between the coalition forces and the unknown ship seemed like the perfect opportunity to strike while their defenses were focused elsewhere. "Admiral Thivor," Captain Han said after receiving the same sensor data, "we're detecting the approaching hostile fleet. Our offer stands. We'll power down our systems and allow inspection, but perhaps we could postpone that until after we've dealt with this immediate threat together." Admiral Thivor faced an impossible choice: trust the mysterious humans and possibly gain powerful allies against the pirates, or maintain the standoff and fight a two-front battle. "Captain Han," he said slowly, "if you're truly peaceful, would you be willing to assist us against these pirates?" "Admiral, we didn't come here to fight anyone, but we also won't stand by while innocent people are attacked. If you'll have us, we'll help defend your space." And with that offer, everything changed. The question was no longer whether humans were a threat, but whether they could become allies in time to save the system from a very real enemy approaching fast. The pirate fleet that approached the Kalra system was unlike anything the coalition had faced before. Pirate Lord Gaxthul had spent years gathering ships and crews from dozens of species, outcasts, criminals, and desperate beings who had turned to raiding for survival. 47 vessels detected, Admiral Thivor's sensor operator reported grimly. Mixed configurations, but all heavily armed. They're approaching in attack formation. Admiral Thivor looked at his own fleet of 23 ships, then at the 2 human vessels still surrounded by his forces. The mathematics were simple. He was outnumbered 2-to-1 by enemies while pointing his guns at potential allies. "Captain Han," Admiral Thivor said over the communication channel, "I'm going to make a decision that goes against every protocol I know. I'm choosing to trust you. You won't regret it, Admiral. All coalition ships stand down from engagement posture with the human vessels. Reform into defensive positions around the trade hub. Captains Han and Kang, your ships are free to maneuver." Engineer Bei Seungmin on the Hanbok immediately began analyzing the coalition fleet formations and the approaching pirate threat. His tactical computer quickly identified weaknesses in both the coalition's defensive positions and the pirate attack patterns. "Captain Kang," Bei reported, "the coalition forces are using outdated defensive formations. They're vulnerable to the multi-vector attack the pirates are setting up. Can we help them improve their positions?" "Absolutely, sir. Their ships are well designed. They're just not positioned optimally." Captain Kang opened communications with Admiral Thivor. "Admiral, our tactical analysis suggests some adjustments to your defensive formation that might improve your effectiveness against the pirate attack." Admiral Thivor was skeptical, but curious. "What kind of adjustments, Engineer?" Bay transmitted his tactical recommendations. Instead of a traditional defensive sphere around the trade hub, he suggested a layered defense with overlapping fields of fire and coordinated shield harmonics. "This is interesting," Admiral Thivor's tactical officer reported. "Their suggested formation would increase our effective firepower by approximately 30%, while reducing our vulnerability to focused attacks. How can they analyze our capabilities so quickly?" "Their computers appear to be significantly more advanced than ours, Admiral." Meanwhile, on the Taguk, Dr. Song was monitoring pirate communications. "Captain Han, the pirate fleet includes ships from at least 12 different species. They're not a unified military force, more like a collection of separate raiding groups working together." "Weaknesses?" "Coordination appears poor between different species groups. They're also using outdated communication protocols that are easy to monitor." Pilot Lee Donghae had been studying the pirate ship configurations. "Captain, their fighter formations are designed for attacking civilian targets, not military vessels. They're going to have trouble adapting to coordinated defense. Can we exploit that?" "If we coordinate with the alien fighters, yes, sir. Their pilots are skilled, but they're using conservative tactics. Combined with our maneuverability, we could be very effective." Captain Han made his decision. "Admiral Thivor, we'd like to integrate our fighters with your defensive squadrons. Our tactical analysis suggests combined operations would be highly effective." "You have fighters?" "Our sensors don't show any launch bays on your ships." "Our technology is different, Admiral. You'll see." What Admiral Thivor saw next challenged everything he thought he knew about spacecraft design. Instead of launching separate fighter craft, the human ships seemed to split apart. Sections of their hulls detached and reformed into smaller, highly maneuverable vessels. "Modular ship design," Engineer Kim explained over the communication channel. "Our exploration ships are built to adapt to different situations. We can reconfigure into multiple smaller vessels when needed." Wing Commander Nolthus, leading the coalition fighter squadrons, watched in amazement as human ship sections transformed into sleek fighters unlike anything he'd ever seen. "Human pilots, this is Wing Commander Nolthus. Are you ready for coordinated operations?" "Ready and eager, Wing Commander," came the reply from pilot Lee Donghae. "Transmitting tactical data and suggested attack patterns now." The pirates were 30 minutes out when Captain Han received an unexpected transmission. "Human ships, this is Pirate Lord Gaxthul. You have impressive vessels. Join us in taking this system, and you'll be richly rewarded. Continue to oppose us, and you'll be destroyed along with these coalition weaklings." Captain Han's response was immediate and clear. "Pirate Lord Gaxthul, we decline your offer. We stand with the coalition in defending innocent lives. Then you'll die with them, human fools." The pirate attack began with a coordinated assault on 3 fronts. The main force attacked the coalition defensive positions directly, while 2 smaller groups attempted to flank the trade hub from above and below. What followed was unlike any battle the coalition had ever fought. The human fighters moved in ways that seemed to ignore physics. They could stop instantly, reverse direction, and accelerate at impossible rates. Their weapons were precise beyond belief, targeting specific ship systems rather than attempting total destruction. "Coalition fighters, this is Lee Donghae. We're targeting their engine systems to disable rather than destroy. Recommend you do the same. Many of their crews are probably being forced to fight." Wing Commander Nolthus was amazed by the human, tactical approach. Instead of the total destruction warfare he was used to, the humans were systematically disabling enemy ships while trying to preserve life. "How are you moving like that?" he asked over the comm. "Gravity manipulation technology," Lee Donghae replied while performing an impossible 90-degree turn at full speed. "We can adjust our local gravity field to change direction instantly." The pirates had expected their superior numbers to overwhelm the coalition forces quickly. Instead, they found themselves facing a defense that seemed to anticipate their every move. Engineer Bei Sungmin was coordinating the overall defensive strategy from the handbok. "All coalition vessels, Pirate Group 7 is attempting to break through Sector 4. Recommend ships 15 through 18 adjust position to create crossfire pattern." How does he know where they're going to attack? Admiral Thivor wondered. "Pattern, Recognition, Admiral, Captain Kang explained. Our computers have analyzed similar battle configurations thousands of times in simulation. We can predict their moves based on their formation changes. The battle turned decisively when the human ships demonstrated their most impressive capability. Instead of simply fighting defensively, they began systematically disabling pirate ships by targeting their weapons and engines with impossible precision. Pirate, Vessel Bloodhawk, this is Captain Han, came a transmission to one of the disabled ships. Your weapons and engines are disabled, but your life support is intact. Surrender now and you'll be treated according to coalition law. This was something completely new in space warfare. The humans were offering mercy to enemies who had shown them none. Some pirate captains, impressed by the human fighting capability and mercy, began to surrender. Others, led by the more desperate and violent crews, fought on. Pirate Lord Gaxthul watched his carefully planned attack fall apart. The mysterious human ships were turning his advantage in numbers into a disadvantage as his own ships got in, each other's way trying to target the impossibly maneuverable human fighters. All ships focus fire on the human vessels. Destroy them and the coalition will collapse. But when 20 pirate ships concentrated their fire on the Teguk, something incredible happened. The ship's shields didn't just absorb the energy, they seemed to redirect it harmlessly into space. Impossible, Gaxthul snarled. Nothing can withstand that much concentrated fire. Our shield technology is adaptive, Pirate Lord. Captain, Han replied calmly. The more energy you put into them, the stronger they become. The demonstration of human defensive capability broke the pirate morale completely. If they couldn't damage human ships even with concentrated fire from 20 vessels, they had no chance of winning this battle. All ships retreat. Retreat now, Gaxthul ordered. But Captain Han had one more surprise. Pirate Lord Gaxthul, you're not leaving. Your ship's engines have been disabled by precision targeting. You're going to face justice for your crimes. Indeed, while the pirates had been concentrating on the impossible human fighters, the Teguk had been systematically disabling the command ships of each pirate group with weapons so precise they could target individual engine components without damaging the rest of the ship. The battle that should have been a devastating defeat for the coalition ended as a complete victory, with most pirate ships disabled rather than destroyed and their crews alive to face trial. Admiral Thivor looked at his tactical displays in amazement. His forces had suffered minimal damage while defeating a superior enemy force. The difference had been the human ships and their incredible technology, combined with tactical thinking unlike anything he'd encountered. Captain Han, he said over the communication channel, I owe you and your people a debt that can never be repaid. No debt, Admiral. We simply did what any peaceful people should do when faced with those who prey on the innocent. But even as the immediate threat ended, both sides knew this was just the beginning of a much larger story, the integration of humanity into galactic civilizati. 3 days after the battle, the Velthari Nexus station buzzed with activity unlike anything in its history. Ships from across the coalition arrived to witness the formal first contact ceremony between humanity and galactic civilization. Counselor Prime Velnari, representing the unified coalition government, stood in the main docking bay as Captain Han Do-hyun walked through the airlock. It was the first time a human had set foot on an alien space station. Captain Han, Counselor Prime Velnari said in carefully practiced human language, on behalf of the Kalros Coalition, I welcome you to our community of worlds. Captain Han bowed respectfully, having learned coalition customs during the past 3 days of constant communication. Counselor Prime, on behalf of humanity and Earth, I thank you for this historic welcome. The formal ceremony was broadcast across dozens of star systems. Species that had never seen a human watched as Captain Han and Counselor Prime Velnari signed the Treaty of Mutual Understanding and Cooperation. But the real changes were happening behind the scenes. Dr. Song Ji-ye had spent the past 72 hours in continuous meetings with coalition scientists. The exchange of scientific knowledge was revolutionizing understanding on both sides. The humans have solved problems we've worked on for centuries, Dr. Kylneth of the Mantari Science Institute told his colleagues. Their medical technology could extend the lifespans of every coalition species by decades. In return, human scientists We're learning about galactic civilization, stellar cartography, and the rich cultures of dozens of intelligent species. Engineer Kim Tae-hwan was equally busy working with Coalition engineers. Their first joint project was upgrading the defensive systems of Coalition ships using human technology. "Your shield harmonics are brilliant," Chief Engineer Voxtal told Kim. "We never thought to synchronize defensive fields between multiple ships. And your armor plating techniques are far superior to ours," Kim replied. "Combining our technologies will benefit everyone." The prisoner situation had created an unexpected diplomatic challenge. The captured pirates represented over a dozen species, many of whom had been forced into piracy by circumstances rather than choice. Captain John So-young had arrived from Earth specifically to handle these complex negotiations. As a diplomatic corps officer, she specialized in situations where legal systems from multiple cultures had to find common ground. Many of these pirates were refugees from worlds destroyed in previous conflicts, she explained to the Coalition Legal Council. Human law suggests rehabilitation rather than pure punishment for those who were forced into crime by desperation. "That's a very different approach from our usual methods," admitted Chief Magistrate Laura Venth. "We typically execute pirates to deter others." "Has execution deterred piracy in your space?" "Well, no. Piracy has actually increased over the past decade." "Then perhaps it's time to try a different approach." The humans proposed establishing rehabilitation colonies where former pirates could learn legitimate trades while making restitution to their victims. It was a radical concept that challenged Coalition thinking about justice. Meanwhile, Chief Science Officer Lim Woo-bin was coordinating the cultural exchange program. Teams of human anthropologists, linguists, and sociologists were working with Coalition scholars to document and preserve the rich cultural heritage of dozens of species. "We have so much to learn from each other," Lim told a gathering of Coalition cultural ministers. "Human music, art, and literature could enrich your societies just as your cultural traditions will enrich ours." The first human-alien joint concert was scheduled for the following week, featuring human musicians performing alongside Zephyrian sound weavers and Mantari rhythm dancers. But not everything was proceeding smoothly. Some Coalition species remained suspicious of human motives. The hegemony faction questioned why humans were so willing to share advanced technology freely. "No species gives away strategic advantages without expecting something in return," argued hegemony representative Krikstal. "What do the humans really want?" Ambassador Rikstal, who had observed human behavior closely during the crisis, offered a different perspective. "Perhaps they want exactly what they claim: peaceful coexistence and shared knowledge. Their actions during the pirate attack proved their stated values." The debate continued in Coalition councils across the galaxy. Some saw humans as the greatest opportunity for advancement in centuries. Others worried about the long-term implications of a species with such advanced technology joining galactic civilization. On Earth, the news of successful first contact had created global celebration. Captain Han's reports were being studied by every government, scientific institution, and cultural organization on the planet. More human ships were being prepared for launch, not military vessels, but exploration and cultural exchange ships designed specifically for peaceful contact with alien civilizations. "We're going to need hundreds of diplomats, thousands of scientists, and entire universities dedicated to xenocultural studies," Earth Secretary of Galactic Affairs told the United Earth Council. "This changes everything for our species." Captain Han stood in the observation lounge of the Velthari Nexus, looking out at a view that would have been impossible a week ago. Human and alien ships worked together on joint projects. Engineers from half a dozen species collaborated on new technologies. Cultural exchange teams prepared for visits to each other's worlds. Dr. Song joined him at the viewing window. "It's beautiful, isn't it? All these different species working together." "It's what we always hoped we'd find out here," Captain Han replied. "Not just intelligent life, but people we could build something with." Engineer Kim approached with his daily report. "Captain, the Coalition has formally requested technical assistance with their deep space sensor network. They want to prevent future surprises like the pirate attack." "Approved. What else?" "The Mantari have invited our botanical team to study their agricultural worlds. They're particularly interested in Earth crop species that might grow in their climate. Also approved. Lieutenant Park Minseo arrived with communication reports. Captain, we've received formal invitations from 17 different coalition worlds to visit and establish cultural exchange programs. We'll need more ships, Captain Han observed with a smile. As if summoned by his words, the space around the station shimmered as 3 more human vessels dropped out of hyperspace. These were not exploration ships, but dedicated diplomatic vessels, designed specifically for long-term cultural exchange missions. Captain Han, came a transmission from the lead ship. This is Captain Zhang Hyuk of the diplomatic vessel Unity. Earth sends greetings and congratulations on successful first contact. Welcome to the Calro system, Captain Zhang. You're going to find this place very interesting. Admiral Thivor, who had become something of a friend to Captain Han over the past few days, joined them in the observation lounge. Captain, I must admit something, the Admiral said. When you first entered our space, I was prepared to destroy your ship to protect our people. I know, Admiral. I don't blame you for that. You were doing your duty. But now, having seen what your people are capable of, having fought alongside you, Admiral Thivor paused, choosing his words carefully. I believe the galaxy has changed forever, and I believe it's changed for the better. Captain Han looked around at the mixed crews working on various projects, human and alien engineers solving problems together, diplomats from dozens of species, planning cultural exchanges. Admiral, I think you're right. We came looking for other intelligent life. Instead, we found partners in building a better future. The observation lounge filled with beings from many worlds. Coalition representatives, human crew members, scientists, engineers, and diplomats. They were planning joint missions, sharing meals, and beginning friendships that would span the galaxy. 6 months later, the first human ambassador to the Coalition Council would present Earth's formal application to join galactic civilization. The application would be approved unanimously, making humanity the newest member of a community that spanned thousands of worlds. But the real victory wasn't political or technological. It was the simple fact that when 2 very different civilizations met among the stars, they chose understanding over fear, cooperation over conflict, and hope over suspicion. The dangerous human ship that had entered Coalition space without authorization had become the bridge between worlds, proving that the universe was vast enough for all its children to thrive together. As Captain Han prepared to return to Earth to report on humanity's first steps into galactic civilization, he reflected on the journey that had brought them to this moment. They had left Earth as explorers seeking knowledge. They were returning as ambassadors of a larger community, carrying with them friendships, partnerships, and dreams of a future built together among the stars. The galaxy would never be the same, and neither would humanity. Looking out at the stars, that now held not mysteries but friends, Captain Han smiled. The greatest adventure was just beginning.